First of all, how happy I am to be here, and thank you for inviting me, Doug. When you said you did your film festival in the middle of August in El Paso, I thought, oh my gosh, isn't it hot? And then you said we have great air conditioning, so I knew I wanted to be here. But more than that, just I want to say a heartfelt affection for the city of El Paso. This is the most important place for me to be right now, to be with you. And my friends from Boston send you their greetings and their love and affection, and said, tell them Boston strong, El Paso strong. But I think the message I get being here is El Paso, the family. So at this time, I'm happy to be part of the family.
Thank you. Welcome. And I'm going to get out of here. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Cheers for Doug. It's been a rough week, but everybody here on staff has really pulled together to keep the event strong, because it's really a fundamental mission of this foundation that puts it on, and it's just a great gift from the city of El Paso to moviegoers, not just here in the city, but everywhere. But anyway,
there's not more of us.
oh, well, and yeah, me too. But it's funny because I told Doug when he mentioned that this film was going to be screened, I said, this is the film I am dying to see because I've never seen it. I mean, it's very rarely shown. It's a classic, of course, by Emerick von Stroheim, and it stars part of Hollywood royalty, meaning your mom, right, Fay Wray. And Scott McGee, as you might have heard some of his introductions over the weekend. Scott McGee, who's one of the programmers at Turner Classic Movies, he mentioned that he happened to see this film in 1999 at an Italian film festival, and he met your mother, and he said that she was just so wonderful, alert, and absolutely gorgeous. And she mentioned several times about how grateful she was to Stroheim for letting her make her big breakthrough in this movie. And so you mentioned that your mom thought this was her best performance and also her favorite film, and I'm wondering...
Well, certainly her favorite film, because she was just 18 years old when she was cast in this role. She had started working, doing little comedies at Hal Roach Studios, and then rough little two-reel westerns, and she dreamed of having a big part on the big screen. When she was invited to come and meet with von Stroheim, who had been looking for months to find the perfect young girl for this role as Mitzi in the Wedding March.
And he said that she embodied the perfect mix of innocence and yet sensuality.
Innocence, and don't we all want to have that? Yeah, so, and the story, she came into his office, and he was a very imposing character who had a shaved head and a monocle that he wore. You'll kind of get a sense of that in the film. And he was wearing a pristine white linen suit with no sleeves. It was summer. And he was telling her the story and pacing up and down, and the only thing she could do is show him with her wide eyes that she was fascinated by everything he was saying. And he finished the story and walked her to the door, and he said to her, well, I thank you for coming in. Goodbye, Mitzi, the name of the character. And she assumed that meant that she was given the role. And he didn't have that in mind, but she assumed that, and she threw her arms around him and burst into tears. And this very autocratic character suddenly melted, and he said, all right, you can do the part. So that was the springboard for her very major career.
Right, and it seems really impossible to think of anyone getting the best of Emerick von Stroheim, the man who's famous as the man you love to hate for all his villainous roles over the years. People probably best know him as the butler in Sunset Boulevard, Max von Merling, who's the former husband, as it turns out, to the Gloria Swanson character. But yet he had such a wonderful early career in silent film, and he only directed 12 movies, right? One of which, of course, is The Wedding March, and this one sort of has a tragic story, right? Because it came in over budget. They shot, 200,000 feet of film, which translated to 30 hours.
Right.
And
So yeah, and they took the producer took the film away from him and sold it to Paramount, along with my my mother's contract, so he never got to finish it. He begged to do a 6-hour version, and the final version was 2 hours, cut by Eric von Sternberg. And there was a 4-hour version that was released in Europe, and the second 2 hours were lent in the 1950s to Cinémathèque Française, and they were burned up accidentally. So we only have this beautifully restored first 2 hours. So it was sort of a tragic ending, as my mother said when the filming stopped. She said the music stopped because it was a musical experience for her. She felt like she was on the big screen and beautiful for the first time and really able to do some acting.
Yeah, and this film really captures a era of pre-war Vienna, which is where Erich von Stroheim grew up. But it depicts an opulence that's very rarely seen in the films. But then, considering that this is the same director who did Grieve, The Wedding, Merry-Go-Round, Merry Widow, all of these films which were wonderful, lush epics. So this is certainly fitting in that regard.
And just as a final note, he imported all of the costumes from Austria, and you'll see that there are big scenes with a lot of soldiers, including the underwear. Just remember that.
That's a good point. Yeah, and we'll let you now settle back and watch this film. It's a perfect example of one of von Stroheim's constant themes: heredity as destiny, how the world of one's parents defines and limits their own, and how the dead hand of the past shapes the destinies of the present. So happy that Victoria Riskin's here. We're going to enjoy this fabulous testament to the glories of early Hollywood, The Wedding March.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank
Okay,
you.
have a good time.